Welcome again to another Dynamo Thoughts. We recently launched on our YouTube channel. After launching, very excited that we got over 100 subscriptions on the first day, which is fantastic. That allowed us to create a
Wow.
custom URL. So that was our
And what's our custom URL, Bill?
youtube.com/c/DynamoThoughts.
Nice.
And I will have that show up on the screen there. So that's our new custom URL. The /c was something I couldn't remove, but hey, it is what it is.
It's a lot better than the gibberish that it was before our custom URL, that's for sure.
That is true. Now all we have to do is we need 99,800 more subscribers so that we can get our YouTube plaque when we get 100,000 subscribers.
All right. Well, we're well on our way, it sounds like.
We are well on our way.
We're off to a good start, at least.
Yep. So in this fantastic episode, I thought we would switch gears a little bit, even though we've only had one gear to go in so far. And because 2007.1 just shipped and the Dynamo Player is now inside, which is a fantastic addition, I thought this would be a good episode to actually show how that Dynamo Player works. And then we can play around with changing some of the settings in it.
That's right. Over the course of this episode, we're going to cover a couple of topics that both brand new Dynamo users and experienced Dynamo users alike will be able to appreciate. And yeah, so let's get started with the Dynamo Player. I think that's a great place to begin here.
Okay.
Sure. So I'm going to start off here in Revit. I'll fire up our sample architecture project. Of course, I'm running Revit 2017.1. I'm going to hop over to a 3D view, and under our Manage tab, you'll now notice next to Dynamo, which you're already familiar with, we have a new button for the Dynamo Player.
Yay, Dynamo Player.
Dynamo Player. So when you click on Dynamo Player, a brand new window comes up that we've never seen before. And the way that the Dynamo Player works is that this player, you can see that there are these 6 rows here in our kind of main body of the player, and a play button next to each one. And each of these 6 lines represents a Dynamo script that is saved somewhere on our computer or our server. We're going to look at exactly where those things are in just a few minutes.
Okay.
So these are a couple of the sample Dynamo files that ship with 2017.1. And the titles of those scripts are the ones that are in big gray letters. So let's see, one of the scripts that we can run here in the Dynamo Player is update sheet names to uppercase. So let's start with that one. I'm going to scroll down in the project browser to look at the names of our sheets, and you can see the titles are, of course, in sentence case. We have uppercase and lowercase. When I hit the play button next to update sheet names, you could see that Dynamo Player runs. We could see the run is completed, and all of our sheets are now in uppercase instead of sentence case.
That's pretty cool.
And that was it. There wasn't a button in Revit that did that before, but now you can do that with Dynamo directly inside of Revit. And of course, we didn't have to open Dynamo once in order to do that, which is pretty cool.
That is fantastic. So you don't have to run. Yeah, so you can just go to the player and play which one you want to play. That's great.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't even look like Dynamo is the point, right? This is excellent for those the people in your office that maybe you've written a script for, or you know that there's a script that you've written that would benefit other people on your team, but they're maybe a little bit hesitant to open Dynamo. I know that those wires and nodes look really a little bit scary to a brand new, even Revit user, let alone a brand new Dynamo user. It's definitely intimidating looking.
Right.
So this is a good way around that.
This is.
So let's try another one out. There's add another level above the existing upper story level. So it sounds like this one works with the levels. I'm going to head over to our one of our elevation views so we could see the levels in the project.
Looks on the level to me.
Looks on. So when I click on the add another level Dynamo script, it runs, and level 8 appears.
How did it know how high
exactly
to go?
Right. So that's a good question. So one of the ways that we're able to peek into the Dynamo definitions that are running in the background here is we could click on the pencil button off to the right, and you can see when I hover over it, we get this flyout that says we can edit that script in Dynamo. And so Dynamo opens
Oh, look at that.
automatically, and now we have the entire script here so that if we wanted to make changes, we certainly could. So after taking just a quick look at how this script is working, it looks like it's reading the top two levels
Oh, okay.
and finding the difference between them and creating
Oh, so it
another
created a
level.
level
So
based on the
3
distance
to 6
between
to
the
9.
last two levels.
Exactly right.
Very
So
smart.
you're presenting an interesting question here is what if you wanted to go in and customize exactly what elevation level you wanted to create.
Mm-hmm.
The Dynamo player is not going to allow you to do that. It basically opens your Dynamo script and hits run without allowing the user to make any
Right.
changes, which is something to keep in mind if you're going to be writing Dynamo
Mm-hmm.
scripts for other people on your team, or maybe you're the Office BIM manager and you're now going to set up an Office Dynamo library. If you're going to encourage your Revit users to run the scripts using the player, that's just something to keep in mind.
So you want to make these as generic as possible because we want to run these on a model without worrying about if something is unique to the other model or unique to the script. Because if it's missing that uniqueness, it's not going to work.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This is exactly the reason why we write BIM standards, so
Right.
that the entire office can follow the same set of instructions. And
Mm-hmm.
when the BIM managers or the Dynamo gurus go and write their automations,
Right.
they're able to be picked up by any project team without
Mm-hmm.
much need for customization.
So it sounds like these may need to be vetted by the Dynamo committee first before they get shipped out to the rest of the company.
I'm trying to imagine how big our Dynamo committees are going to be in our offices pretty soon. I know our Dynamo committee would probably only be 2 or 3 people firm wide.
You probably have a big Dynamo committee. We have probably 3 people, maybe 4 at this point. It's getting
That's a
larger
that's a good sized Dynamo committee.
because we're all becoming Dynamaniac.
So of course, the next step of the Dynamo player here is
Uh-huh.
we don't necessarily want to continue working with these 6 Dynamo scripts.
Right.
We're going to want to customize exactly where on our computers or where on our servers
Mm-hmm.
the Dynamo player is
Right.
looking to populate this list. So the way that we can do that is we have these 3 buttons at the top. One of them is browse to
Mm-hmm.
folder. Another one is to view the current folder. So I'll click on view current folder,
Oh, okay.
and a window opens up. You can see that this is here on my C drive. It would be on
Mm-hmm.
your C drive as well the first time you open Dynamo Player. And it's in our Dynamo samples file.
Okay.
So you can see here are the 6 Dynamo scripts that shipped with 2017.1. And those are the same 6 scripts that appear here in the Dynamo Player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we're not necessarily going to use this location as our firm-wide Dynamo library. We'll probably maybe you already have a location on your company server that has your library of Dynamo scripts. The way that you can point the Dynamo player to that location is by clicking on the Browse to Folder button.
Okay.
So here you can see you have the ability to locate whichever folder you want.
That's great.
So I'm going to copy paste the file path to our DynamoThoughts episode 1 folder for our
Oh,
Hello
okay.
World episode. And when I click OK, we should see, there we go. So this
Oh,
is
look at that.
the Dynamo script that we wrote for our Hello World
Mm-hmm.
definition just a couple weeks ago.
That's great. Let's try that. Let's see if we can get Hello World to work in this one.
Sounds good. So I'm going to go back to our 3D view, and maybe we'll see the Hello World model text once it appears. I'll hit run.
It's running. Completed
With
errors.
errors.
Uh-oh. Can we check to see what the errors are?
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, that's right. I have a hunch I know what the error is. I'm going to click on the pencil,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to open up Dynamo for us.
Oh,
So
look
of
at that.
course the big node that creates the entire model text family
Uh-huh.
instance can only be created in a family document while we're in a project here.
Oh,
So
there's your
that
problem.
explains our error message.
Let's see if this will work in a family. Let's open up a generic model and see if it works there. Let's make sure it's not a
Sounds
limitation.
good. I'm going to close out of our project. Going to launch a new generic model template. We'll head back over to the Manage tab, and I'll launch the Dynamo Player again.
Mm-hmm.
And now we'll hit our play button and cross our fingers.
Yay,
All
it
right.
works. Fantastic.
Terrific.
So what we probably would want to do then is rename that Dynamo script to have the word family in it so that our end users would know if it's a family or not.
That's a good idea, especially from a BIM standards perspective.
Right.
Now we can train our users, look for the prefix
Mm-hmm.
family or something like that in our Dynamo scripts, and it'll.
I wonder if we could create a folder inside of there and have it show the folder.
Yeah, let's give that a try. So
Let's
I'm
try
going to
that.
open up, here I am in our DynamoThoughts
Okay.
Dropbox. I'll add a new, what do you think, a new folder for family.
Mm-hmm. That's a good name.
I don't know, this is family related scripts. So we'll call it family
Okay.
scripts. And I'll drag it in. Oh, wow. So right away, the Dynamo Player recognizes that something changed
Mm-hmm.
in our directory that it's pointed
That's
to.
pretty cool.
So what we'll need to do here is we'll have to hit the refresh button to have it kind of repath.
Mm-hmm. And
And
it's not showing the
let's
folders.
see, it's not.
Maybe Dynamo
No,
Player
it's not.
2.0 will allow us to do that.
Perhaps. Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool, like an
Yeah.
accordion menu that expands out to show subfolders.
I can just hear the developers now going, we finally gave them the Dynamo Player and now they want more.
That's human nature for you, though. We're never
We are
satisfied.
never satisfied.
So maybe what we do instead, let's kind of develop that naming convention that we talked
Okay.
about. So maybe this is like a family
Right.
related script. So
Mhm.
maybe we'll just call it like family underscore or
There you
something
go.
like that. And then when we reload, here
All
we
the
go. So this
FAMs
is
will be together.
FAM
Mhm.
Dynamo
That
Thoughts.
works too. Mhm. And I can see people
Terrific.
doing
And
01, 02,
yeah.
03s in this as well as they go along.
Oh, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
great.
And that's a perfectly good way to organize whatever your kind of company Dynamo library is going to look like.
Absolutely.
So coming back to your point before, you mentioned something like, when we ran the script that created a new level, you
Right.
said, well, how does it know how high the level is going to go?
Right.
What if we wanted to specifically set dimension
Mhm.
was for the new level? What we could do in that case, so we've already explored all of the functionality of the Dynamo Player.
Well, in that case, we just create a level.
Oh, of course, yeah. You could just create a level, but let's kind of let's take a look at our Hello World example. So if
Okay.
you remember at the end of the last video, we experimented by dragging the slider around.
Right.
We had numbers that we could have changed that would have adjusted the position of this Hello World model text. So the Dynamo Player doesn't let us set any of those
Mhm.
things. The way that we would approach that situation was we'd go into edit in Dynamo. We'd hit that pencil button, which would open up the Dynamo script. So now your users who are a little bit intimidated by nodes and wires are now in Dynamo territory. So that might be a red flag for some of the BIM managers out there or the kind of the local Dynamo
Right.
experts on their project
And-
team that want to share these definitions.
And now they're running for the red X.
And so what I would recommend is running for the red X,
Yeah, you just got
the
that,
exit
huh?
sign.
Yeah, the little red X in the upper
Okay.
right corner.
Oh, that red X. It took me a second there. Well, before they get to the red X and before they decide, no, I don't want to open Dynamo at all, there are a couple really excellent Dynamo features that are out of the box, and they've been part of Dynamo for a while now, for
Okay.
years at this point, that could be really helpful for non-Dynamo users that find themselves looking at this for the first time and are interested in maybe customizing a couple of things. And one of the best ways, I'm going to maximize the screen for a second, one of the things that I would recommend is kind of coming up with a Dynamo standard for your company that allows your users to look at a script and immediately recognize, okay, these are the inputs that I'm allowed to change. And one technique that really works well here is I'm going to highlight a couple of the inputs here. So we've got a number input that will change the X and the Y coordinates, and we had our number slider that changed the text depth. So these are potentially the numbers that a user who's running this Dynamo script might want to change, but if they don't know Dynamo, they're not going to try to reverse engineer it.
Right.
So what I'd recommend is highlight the input nodes of your graph, go to the Edit tab, and then click Create Group, or Control-G is the keyboard shortcut for that. And you can see that groups these nodes together. They all kind of behave together now, but what's intuitive about it is it highlights it in a green color. You could right-click on it and pick a different color if you like, maybe something more like a red or pink, or maybe blue is the company color for these are the inputs of this graph. And by double-clicking on the group title, you could say these are graph inputs.
Okay. Is there a way to rename where it says number up at the top?
You can do that too, and that's an excellent way to cue your
Uh-huh.
users as far as what this number means.
Okay.
So the top number is the X coordinate, second one is the Y coordinate. So
Mm-hmm.
just by double clicking
Oh, look at that.
on that header, you can say, you can rename whatever you want here. So this is the X coordinate. I'll hit accept, and our number input is now changed. Here's our Y
Look
coordinate.
at that.
And the number slider is the text depth.
Uh-huh. That's great. That is great.
From a Dynamo standpoint, I don't always recommend doing that, because now if somebody decides they really want to come in and play with the inputs, maybe not so much for inputs, but if you were to rename, because you can rename any one of these nodes, if you were to
Right.
rename this node, you might lose track of what this node, how it kind of came from the library. You might kind of forget what it was.
But if you hover over it, it told us what it was.
Oh, that's right. I guess the flyout tells us.
But
You're
it's
right.
still good practice not to rename the ones we don't want people to edit.
That's right. Exactly.
Make them as cryptic as possible. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can throw a string box above that and then type a whole bunch of text in there that gives instructions, sort of like a remark. If you don't wire it to anything, it shouldn't do anything.
Oh, a string input similar to our hello world?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll do you one better. The Dynamo developers expected that we were going to want to do something like that. So right next to our create group, there's a create note feature.
Oh, look at that. Even better.
Exactly. So you won't confuse yourself or other users as far as what did this string mean. So this is another way that you could say,
so you can do the new note.
Change these inputs, but don't touch anything else.
Yes. Or you're in trouble. HR will be notified.
So these are ways that you, as the curator of your company Dynamo library, for all the users who are going to be using your Dynamo Player, can communicate with the users so that when they do want to customize or maybe make slight changes, so they could get exactly what they want to out of the Dynamo script. This is a way that you're able to communicate with those users without them having to come and tap you on the shoulder and ask for your time.
Well, let me try to show you something then, because I just thought of something while you were talking.
I like it. Sure.
I'm gonna show you how to, from a BIM manager point of view, make it so that your approved programs go to the user, but they can still add their own. I got this idea from AutoCAD when we used to do plot styles, because you would want company standard plot styles, but you'd still want the users to create their own. And so this is the same method. So let me go ahead and present my screen. All right, so the first thing we have to do is determine where those files live. And we're not going to change the folder where they live. We're going to leave it alone. And the reason that is because I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll open up open up Revit here. So we'll open up Revit. I'll go to the Manage tab. I'll go to the player. I'll wait for it to load. And then you said I hit this button, right? To show the browse the folder.
That's right. This will let you choose wherever else on your
mine
company
looks
directory
different
you'd
than
like.
yours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I've got my 6. But look, see how I click on this folder and it brings up this this browser.
This is
here.
how you can pick a new location. Did you want to show the
Oh, that's
original?
how you pick a new one.
That's right.
This is view current folder.
That's right.
Okay, good.
So those are the 6 definitions that you see in your player currently.
Okay. Got it. All right, so here's where they live right now. So in program data. So what you'll do then is, let me copy this, and we'll go to Notepad++. So we'll go to Notepad. We got a new document here, and we're going to paste that in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to Robocopy, one of my favorite commands in the world.
I think that said Robocopy.
Oh, Roco, yeah. Let's do Robo instead. Robocopy. So we want to Robocopy from C:\dyn to that file, and we want to copy all the files. Well, we don't really need to copy the folders because the folders don't matter. Okay, so what Robocopy is going to do is it's going to copy all the files from here, from C:\dyn, to this folder, and copy all the files. And if the file already exists, it's going to ignore it and continue on. So if the Dynamo scripts are very, very large, it won't take very long to do this. And you can do this at login.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll save this, save as, and I want to save it to, let's save it to the desktop. We'll say update dynamo.bat, and we'll say save.
Got
So
it.
now we have that saved. All right. So now what I need to do, now I know where this folder lives. I want to go back to the C drive, and I want to create my Dynamo folder. So this would be on your network drive normally.
Okay.
So this would be where your Dynamo scripts live. And then we have that great Dropbox folder. Let's go to here. I have way too many folders in my life. And DynamoThoughts and Hello World. And there's the Dynamo script. So
That's
we'll
right.
copy that. And we'll paste it here. Okay, so now we have our Dynamo script. This is the one that's approved by the committee. The committee approved this one.
All right. We did a pretty good job with that Hello World script if it got approved by the committee
We
so
did.
quickly.
I realize that, yeah. It's a miracle. Usually it takes days to get that done. So I'll double click on this, and it copied it over. And if I refresh, oh, why didn't it do it? Why didn't it do it? Let's edit it. Pause. Save. So if I double click on this, oh, I see what happened. So here's the problem.
Oh, did it copy the
We have to
folder
make-
and not just the contents?
No, because Dynamo space Revit.
Oh,
And
spaces.
so we need to go there.
Good catch.
And if we put quotes around that, then it's going to know it. So we'll save that, and we'll try it again. And it copied the one file.
Mhm.
I can refresh, and there is
Oh.
my family right there.
Check that out. So you're suggesting the way that a BIM manager can manage the entire firm's Dynamo Player list is by using this Robocopy feature in a batch file and copying out the approved scripts from someplace on the company server out to all of the users' local, what was it, in app data, where the Dynamo Player points to by default.
It's in their local program data.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, send it to the default location. And the reason we'll want to do that is because we'll want our Dynamo experts to feel free to create their own little scripts, and it'll save on their C drive and not on the network drive. Because you may want to create a script for something kind of special or something that isn't quite ready to go out to the real world yet, but you'll want it in your player. And so you could have it in your player, but not have it everywhere else in the company.
Got it. Got it. Very cool.
So all you'd have to do then is copy your DYN file to that location on the network, and then it updates. And so this gives that Hannah Montana effect of the best of both worlds, so that you can create your own scripts and have all the company scripts there as well.
I like it. So we've now seen a way that if a user is really just kind of pointing their project team to a single location, maybe in their project folder on the server where all the Dynamo scripts are for that project, we've seen how to do that in the Dynamo Player. We've covered how a BIM manager is able to kind of push these Dynamo scripts out to all of the users in a company or in an OU. What if there's a user, maybe I don't know, maybe there's someone on my project team that experimented with the Dynamo Player, they customized it and they pointed it to a location, but now we have to point it back to the original location. Is there a really easy way that I can tell that user how to, I don't know, maybe restore the factory defaults?
That is in the app data folder. And in fact, Aaron Maller tweeted this out a little while ago. So if we go into local, there is the Dynamo Player
Mm-hmm.
So all of the settings are in here.
That's right.
And so what we would do is just simply delete this folder and it would recreate it from scratch. And then
Okay.
all of the company files would go back. And that is an okay, I think that's an okay thing to do, is delete that
Mm-hmm.
for now until we find a better way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because your experienced users are going to know to change their folder.
Mm-hmm.
But your inexperienced users aren't going to know to change it back. So this would give them the ability to restart their machines and then it will be back to normal.
Right, right. Yeah, a lot of times we see those types of settings in an INI file. So this is the equivalent. It all lives in that Dynamo
Right.
Player instance one folder somewhere.
Right.
Interesting.
And so as far as wish list items for this Dynamo player would be folders and another button here that says go back to the company default or something like that, or favorite folders or something would be good too. Even
Those would be
favorite
cool.
folders would work good. If you could do
Yeah, yeah.
favorite folders would be great. See, we're already asking for more. They knew we were going to ask for
This
more.
is a terrific feature, though. I've been looking forward to this
This
for
is a
such a
great
long
tool.
time. I have trouble getting
hmm
users around the office to open Dynamo, even though the script, all they need to do is open it and hit run as soon as they see those wires and nodes. It's an intimidating thing
Yeah,
to stare in the face.
they get scared.
I can't blame
Great.
them.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and call this one an episode.
All right.
And when we do our next episode, I've got a few great ideas for us. So I'll send you over those ideas, and you can get practicing on those.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
thank you everyone for watching Dynamo Thoughts. You can find me on the Twitters as Bill DeBevic. That's in the little notes down below. And Ian, how can people find you?
You could find me on Twitter at Ian_Siegel. And you could also find me
Uh-huh.
on lynda.com if you're interested in a more comprehensive introduction to Dynamo. If you want me to hold your hands throughout
Right.
your entire learning process, lynda.com is the place to do it. And we'll include a free 10-day trial in the show notes as well.
That's great. So use that 10-day trial that's in the show note. Ian will get the thumbs up from lynda.com saying, "Hey, great. Thanks for sending people our way." And lynda.com is a great resource if you haven't used it yet. It has training for everything in
It
there.
really does. There's some terrific Revit training in there by Paul F. Aubin, by Eric Wing. There's actually one of Paul's recent courses included a couple videos on Dynamo. So it's becoming harder and harder to separate
hmm
Dynamo from Revit. They're really kind of being used together quite a bit now.
Right. And so you can head over to lynda.com and start your free trial. Or click on that link, which will take you to lynda.com to start your free trial. Lots of great stuff. We're not sponsored by Lynda yet. Hint, 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 lynda.com. And so thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.